生 阿弥陀佛，
阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛！世界各地的莲花童子们，大家早上好，午
Good
安，
morning,
晚
good
上
afternoon, good evening to all
今天
Padma
是
Kumaras around the world.
2025
Today is the 9th of May, 2025, Friday. I'm today's host, 莲花秋韵 from
那今天呢，我们依
Malaysia's
然有三语的直
Singtang
播，大家可以在
chapter,
Zoom 这里选
and
择
the
华语
lesson will be
频道、
conducted
英
in
语
three
频道
languages,
及印尼语的频道。
Chinese, English,
我
and
们呢，感谢
Indonesian.
我们的英语翻译员连安法师，
And
感谢我们印尼语的翻译
let's
员
thank
林
our
博士以及
Indonesian
助教。
interpreter,
课
Dharma
程结束
assistant
后，我
Peifen.
们都会
And
把
at the end of the
3语
lesson,
的视频发在我们真佛宗全球网
the
络教子
recordings
同
of
修的
the
YouTube 频
lessons
道，
in three
大家
languages
到
will
时候
be
可以
posted
按
on
收
the
看
YouTube
同
channel
步
of
课程的直播。
Trubra
那大家可
School
以留意我们有连
Education
续的
Department's
YouTube 连接，
Trubra
有
Foundation
就
Education
将这个
Department's
连
YouTube
接
channel.
现在马上发
And let
上
me
来。
share the link with everyone.
好，请大家稍等我一下。
Please hold on it for a while. And these are the links
今天
to
课
the
程
YouTube
结束后，依
playlists.
然会请授课师为大家
At
示
the
范
end
课，
of the
无论你
lesson,
是
there
透过
will
Zoom、
be a
YouTube 或者是
question and
Facebook
answer
上课，那大家都可以
segment.
把问题写在留
And
言区，
whether
我们的
you're
辅导员会举例收
listening
集各个
on
平台的问
YouTube
题。
or
虽然每一
Facebook
个问题都很宝贵，
or
那为了
in
聚焦
Zoom,
今
you
天
can,
的课程
we
主
will
题，
collect all
建
the
议大家尽
questions.
量提问，而
And
今天
although
没
all
有
the
人相关
questions
的问题，
are
这样也能
important,
让大
but
家
we
一起
will
更有收
prioritize
获
the
上课。
questions that
那
are
感谢
relevant to
感
today's
恩大家
lesson.
的合作。
And
那
thank you
如
for
果今天我
cooperating
们的时
for
间有限，无法一一回
posing
答，
posing
那
questions
在
that are
下个
relevant
星期
to
为
today's
大家
class.
做解答。那感谢大家踊跃的参与。 好
Thank you
啦，
for
那我
your
们现在
enthusiastic
先和大家
participation.
一一打招呼。
And
如果您
before we
方便的
begin,
话，
let
欢迎
me
您开启您的镜
greet
头，
everyone one
并
by
在
one.
屏幕
If
上
it's
写上
convenient
你
for
的
you, you can
写上你的
turn
法
on
号
your
和你的
video
莲花
camera
某某，这
and
样让
rename
我们
your
彼此更
profile
熟
so
悉，
that
也更有
we
互
can
动。
see your
那
Dharma
首先
name,
呢，我
and
们就
this will
先欢迎我们
allow
的授课导
me
师
to
莲台上
greet
师，
you.
上师好。
And first of all, let's welcome our teaching master for tonight,
欢
Master
迎
Shilian Lai
莲鹤上师，
and Master Lian He, the
我们
director
的
of
辅
the
导员的
TBF
范逸
Education
晨讲
Department,
师，辅导
and
员莲花于飞讲师，
Dharma instructor
那
Lian
我们
Hua
看到莲花
Yicai,
智伟、
one of
莲花
the
少敏、辅导员莲花师
volunteers
傅助教、
and backend staff,
莲花
backend
龙
volunteers
一、
for Trubra School
莲
Online
花金
University,
线、
as
祝
well
福
as
法师
many
好，
other Dharma
辅导
propagators,
员莲花
including
法师助
referents,
教，
Dharma
还
instructors,
有莲
Dharma
花黄玉
assistants,
婵、
and
莲花
various
小天
Dharma
使姐，
siblings.
你好。我们的翻译员佩芬助教也上线了，还有看到分堂有大马方广堂，有莲花诗影、莲花做人讲师阿弥陀佛、莲花敏琪、莲花真语，还有莲花老钟师兄。 莲花纹绣、莲花琼姿、莲花雾眉是莲追教授师，你好，阿弥陀佛。还有看到是莲芳法师，你好。还有莲花玉尾助教在英国的，阿弥陀佛。看到莲花剑清师兄、莲花诗影、莲尘、莲花金花，还有张玲。好，那在等待大家进来的时候呢，我们就先做一下打一下
And
几个
while
广告。
we're
那我们全
waiting
球
for
网络
everyone
同
to
修
come in,
将
let's
于5月13日
do a
开
bit of
始在台湾时
advertising.
段晚上8点，带领大家一起
The
来学习大
Amitabha
本尊品，
Buddha
欢
Yidam
迎大
Yoga
家一起
Sadhana
上线同修。我现在
group
把这个
online
YouTube
group
同修的
cultivation
链接及 Zoom 的链
will
接发在
be
留
will
言区，
begin on
那
the
大家可以
13th of
收
May.
起来。
And let me share
那
the
到时
link
候
with
呢，我
everyone.
们
It will
就可
begin
以
at Taiwan time
开
8
始一
p.m.
起同
This
修。
is in Chinese.
另外也提醒大家，我们正在发起2025师尊佛诞全球持咒回
At
向
the
活
same
动，
time, there
邀
is a
请全
mantra
球弟子一起持
recitation
诵瑶
activity
池金母心咒，为
to
师尊祈福，愿师尊健康
celebrate
长寿，
Grandmaster's
如持者。
birthday,
欢迎大家
as
一
well
起
as to
精进
supplicate
持
for
咒，
Guru
并参与
Buddha
登
to
记，
remain in the
也
world.
欢迎大家
So
呼
we
吁更
welcome
多人
everyone
一起
to
行动。
participate enthusiastically in this event.
好，请
Chant
问
the
大家
mantra of Golden
是
Mother.
否已经加入我们的打卡行列？是否每天
And
都在努力完成
can I ask,
功课并
have
打卡？
you
记得我
are
们
you
一定要坚持
participating
打卡。
in
我们的打
our
卡群分为3
um,
个，有 WhatsApp、
practical
Line
homework
和
activity,
微信
checking in
群。
every
你只要
day
选择一个群组
and
进行
checking
打卡就
in
可以了。
by
在打
the
卡的
Google
时候，
form.
温馨提醒大
And
家，
you can
记得
also
写上
post
固定及正确的
your
符号。
response,
您给予的小方便能
your
大大的减轻我
participation
们后
in
台
the
的工作
three
量， 非
various
常非
groups,
常感恩
WhatsApp,
大家的
Line,
配
and
合。
WeChat.
还有，
And
请
if
问大
you
家都
fill
加入
in
了我
your
的
Dharma name
WhatsApp 的
correctly,
大家
this
庭了
will
吗？我们
make
是
it
否网络大全，
easier
在
for
WhatsApp 上
our
设了一个真
volunteers
佛
working
密
behind the
法课
scenes
互动
to
群？
collect and gather
在
your
群
names.
组里，大家可以将上课后的心得分享
There
出
are
来，
also
和同
WhatsApp
学们交
groups
流互
that
动，互
allow
相激励，共同进步。
students
那我
to
现在呢，
interact
也
with each
把
other
链
and
接
participate
放
to
在留
share
言
your
区，大
insights.
家可以点
And
击加
I will
入，
be
也
sharing
可
the
以
links
share 给
in the chat
同门
window right
及
now, and you
还
can
没加
share
入的
these
同
these
门，
links with
欢迎他们一起
those who
加
are
入。
interested.
那前几天就有同门在群组里提问，这次课程为什么没有讲到莲花童子？那在
So
这里
someone
呢，
was
也统
asking,
一说
why
明一
is
下，
there
莲花
no
童子其实
explanation
在
on the
真佛密法
Pamakumara
中由莲
Guru
基
Yoga,
上
root
师
Guru
教
Yoga?
授过
So
根
let
本
me
上师
explain.
心
It
意
was
法，
actually
所
already
以这次
explained in
真佛
True
密
Buddha
法
Tantric
的
Dharma
课
1
程就
by
不会
Master
再
Lian
做
Yi.
重复
So
讲授。
it
想要
will
复
not
习的
be
同
taught
门可以
again
回
in
看我
this
们真
True
佛
Buddha
密
Tantric
法
Dharma
一
2
系列
course.
回
So
播
if you're
影片。
interested to find out more
好，
about the
那现在呢
Pamakumara
已经是
root
8
Guru
点整了，
Yoga,
我
please
们就
refer
话不多
to the
说，
lesson
我们
in True
把
Buddha
时
Tantric
间
Dharma 1.
交给授课
And
师，
now it's
我们的
8
课
p.m.
程
sharp,
正
so
式
let
开始，
me
有请您来
hand
上
over the
师。
baton to our teaching master, invite him to
好，谢
start the
谢主
class.
持人。
Thank
我
you,
们一起恭敬合
host.
掌，
Let us put our
我们
palms
一
together
心祈
reverently
请根
to
本传承
pay
上
homage to
师
our
圣
root
尊延
guru,
伸佛佛，
His Holiness Living Buddha
一
Liansheng.
心祈请真佛中
Wholehearted
历代
homage
传承祖
to the
师，
lineage gurus of True
一
Buddha
心
School.
祈请
Wholehearted
坛城三宝，
homage to the
祈
Triple
求
Gem.
放光加
We
持，
pray for
让
your
我
great
们
blessing
学
light
习一切吉祥圆满。
to
我们手
bless this
结莲
lesson
花，
to
同
be
时手
auspicious
印
and
持上
beneficial.
师心咒
Please put
短
your
咒
from
七
the
遍。
Pamakumara
Om
Mudra and
Kuru
let's
莲
recite the
生
mantra.
悉地吽，Om Kuru
Om
莲
Kuru
生
Lien
悉
Shem
地
Siddhi
吽
Om.
，Om Kuru
Om Kuru
莲生
Lien
悉
Shem
地吽
Siddhi Om.
，Om Kuru
Om
莲
Kuru
生
Lien
悉
Shem
地
Siddhi
吽
Om.
，Om Kuru
Om
莲
Kuru
生
Lien
悉
Shem
地吽
Siddhi Om.
，Om Kuru
Om
莲
Kuru
生
Lien
悉
Shem
地吽
Siddhi Om.
，Om
Om
Kuru
Kuru
莲
Lien
生悉
Shem
地吽。
Siddhi Om.
我们尊贵无上根本上师圣尊莲生佛
Revered
佛，师母莲香金刚上
Guru, His
师，
Holiness Living
我
Buddha
们
Lian
尊贵
Sheng,
的
Patrol
教育处
Master
处
Lian
长莲和
Xiang,
上师，还
TBF
有众上师、各
Director,
位
Master
教
Lian
授
He,
师、法
various
师、各
masters,
位
senior
同门，还
reverends,
有我们
reverends,
的工作
Dharma
人员，大家晚
propagators,
上好。
all Dharma siblings. Good evening to
好，
everyone.
在还没有开始之前啊，
Before we
我要
begin the
感谢
lesson,
这个教育
I
处
have
处
to
长
thank
联合
Master
上
Lian
师
He,
的
the
鼓
director
励。
of
这一
True Buddha
节
Foundation's
体
Education
制会
Department
安排时
for
间，
agreeing
可是我发现它里面的
to
内容
Um, because the lesson was originally planned for one lesson. So I asked whether, but I realized it's very rich in content. So I asked if it's possible to extend the lesson. And Masli and I actually agreed to let me extend the class to 3 or 4 sessions. And it, the chapter 2 on the smoke offering Siddhana, when I was preparing the class material, I realized that that can actually be taught in one lesson instead of 3. So there is a little bit of change in the schedule, but as far as possible, we'll try to follow the schedule planned by the education department. Let me start the PowerPoint presentation. Okay, part 10 of chapter 1, Keys to Cultivating Yidam Yoga. As usual, before we start the lesson proper, I will begin with an outline. So I'll ask 2 questions for you to answer. Part 2 would be sharing about the sources of information. Number 3, what is a true Yidam? Number 4, since we're talking about yogic union, then how do we define yogic union? Number 5, what are the keys to yogic union? And number 6, what are the keys taught by Root Guru based on his own experiential insights? What are the key quotes by Guru? And part 7 would be a conclusion or a summary of all the points. So first, let me ask and let you answer. The first question is, a lot of people when choosing their idam, I don't know whether you have this consideration. Will you think about the idam having a higher level of accomplishment, and therefore the practitioner will have a higher level of accomplishment in the future? For example, if I choose Amitabha Buddha is a Buddha. So does that mean that if I cultivate Amitabha's Yidam Yoga, my accomplishment in the future will be higher than White Dakini or White Tara, who is still at Bodhisattva level? The second question is, this question is not from me. I know some of you will have question marks. This is a question by Guru. Those who learn Tantric Buddhism both know that there are 2 kinds of Dharma that you must absolutely not abandon. What are these 2? And these are the sources of the class content. The class handouts that you have, the content in those class handouts come from items 1 to 3. But apart from these 3 books, for instance, book 275 is a newer book. The first 2 books were written more than about 30 years ago by Grandmaster. And Grandmaster has also taught a lot of other keys about Yidam Yoga and yogic union with your Yidam. So I have actually sourced for more information from other books. So it's not limited to just the 3 books, which are the main basis of the class handouts prepared by Tribunal Online University. So some of the materials that I reference include Dzogchen, The Great Perfection, as well as Return to the River of Stars. These are newer books by Grandmaster, and there are a lot of key instructions or keys, teachings in these books. So let's move on to what is a true Hidam. This definition comes from book 129, Entering the Most Secret Realm of the Yin-Yang Realm, entering the most mysterious Yin-Yang realm. So when the Yidam appears in the cosmic space and then comes closer and moves to the crown of your head until entering to you. This this entering of the merging of the deity into the practitioner and the merging of the practitioner into the empty space. This is the outer secret of Yidam Yoga. And then the inner secret of Yidam Yoga is using your qi to kindle your inner fire, and the inner fire when kindled will melt the light drops, etc. So in 30 over years, Grandmaster has taught us Dzogchen, the great perfection, as well as color chakras, Vajra chain, and he's also explained Lamdra. And from those perspectives, then it's possible to understand what is being described here. When you are practicing inner dharmas, tantras, you allow the red and white body, when it merges in your body, use your inner fire to melt the red and white light drops at your heart chakra, and clear, pristine light will manifest. And in color chakra Vajra chains, Siddhana, but Grandmaster taught that when the light, clear, pristine light appears, when they appear, they might move. So you need to chain them together with Vajra chain, and when you put all these together, it becomes a Vajra screen, and in the Vajra screen, your Yidam will appear. So if you use the keys taught by Guru when he taught the Vajra chain, you will understand what this inner tantra is about. This requires your body to develop the clear, pristine light, and the outer Yidam is the Yidam in the cosmic space, merging with your own personal inner Yidam. That's your true Yidam. In the latest books by Grandmaster, there is not just outer and inner, there is the merging of these two. And according to this book, when the outer and inner Yidam merge, then that is the true Yidam. And next we go to the definition of yogic union. There are part 1 and 3. Part 1 is the 5 kinds of yogic union, and part 3 is 4 characteristics of yogic union. These are a bit deep, but because I feel that they are beneficial to know, so I've included them in. There are some parts that are in the class handouts, which are I feel are a bit beyond digestion, so I have not included them here. So the 5 kinds of yogic union, these are mentioned in book 107, chapter 11 on yogic union. So it comes from this scripture, 成为是论. And these 5 kinds of yogic union are, they're not meant to be translated, which creates a bit of difficulty in our understanding. But luckily, Grandmaster explained a bit, so we have a better understanding of what these mean. So let us go through one by one. So 镜相应 refers to yogic union in terms of state or realm. So there's this term called 所缘境.
我看一下是不是我写错，对，我写错了，抱歉了，这个是写错的，这应该是所言境。它里面有一个句话是
to understand 镜相应 we need to understand 所缘境.
就是说你不违背这个法的自性。
You do not go against the self-nature of the Dharma. This may be hard to understand, but to simplify, For instance, if you are visualizing fire, this fire has heat. Doesn't have heat. The fire that you visualize doesn't have heat. But when we visualize fire at your dantian and the dantian generates heat, then this is jing xiang. So if there's no heat when you visualize it, then you haven't reached the yogic union in terms of state or realm. Why are we not able to reach this yogic union in terms of state or realm? It's because most people, they are not able to focus or fully focus and converge their mind power, mental power. So 所缘境 is just a term, but for instance, in terms of breathing, counting the breath counting method, when your mind is on your breathing, you breathe in once, you breathe in twice. This breath counting method is 所缘境. When you're able to focus or be and your mind is able to be stable in that method, then you have this is yogic union in terms of state or realm. So it's actually much more profound or deeper than this. I'm just using very simple analogies to try to explain this concept. So when you visualize yourself as your Yidam, if you still feel that you're not your Yidam, then you have not reached yogic union in terms of state or realm. If you really feel yourself as your Yidam, then you have reached yogic union in terms of state or realm. When you are cultivating outer tantra, there is jing xiang yi in the outer sense, and there's also in the inner sense. The most basic 所缘境, when you learn all these techniques and you abide in the empty space or the cosmic space, at that time there is no 所缘境. When you are in that state of no 所缘境, you have reached yogic union in terms of state realm. So I'm just trying to use simpler terms to explain a very profound, deep concept. So in other words, whatever you visualize, it all becomes real, then that is jing xiang yin. That's yogic union in terms of state or realm. In the process of cultivation, when we visualize something, it might not necessarily become real. But when you reach the state of yogic union in terms of state or realm, then it's a little bit like whatever you think of or will manifest or appear. So whatever you say becomes reality or it manifests. Whatever you think of, it will appear. So it's not like we're thinking, oh, the Yidam and I merge, but the Yidam is still the Yidam and I'm still me, and the two are separate. This is not yet yogic union. So this is a little bit related to Yogacara. So if you really want to understand more about yogic union in terms of state or realm, you have to try to understand Yogacara. So later we will try to explain what's the difference between Xing, Xing, and Li, the first three items. So Xing, Xiang, Yin, yogic union in action or conduct. In terms of your action or conduct, you are wholehearted and focused in concentration. You are able to, in the realm of existence and in the realm of emptiness, you are able to be at ease in both. And in terms of yogic union in understanding awareness, you have an understanding of worldly and transcendental dharma. What is 世俗谛, which is worldly dharma? to help one understand the concept of transcendental Dharma, we have to begin with worldly Dharma so that you understand what is transcendental Dharma. For instance, shunyata or emptiness. This is a very abstract term, Buddhist concept, but how do the lineage gurus teach? They will say, you see this thing arising and then later it turns into emptiness. So then you understand the concept of emptiness or shunyata. In order to help you understand what is transcendental Dharma, for instance, there is a kind of shunyata or emptiness that will not disappear when there is existence. They are using concepts to help you understand a deeper understanding. For instance, compassion. When we talk about compassion, people think about when see people suffering, you need to have compassion, help them. This is dualistic thinking. So, for instance, if people are happy, then I don't need to be compassionate. If people are unhappy, then I need to have compassion. But in terms of the transcendental aspect, even if people are not suffering, you still have compassion. So it doesn't matter whether they're happy or unhappy, compassion is there. So worldly Dharma is dualistic, but transcendental Dharma is non-dualistic. For instance, Grandmaster talked about non-duality recently. He talked about wisdom. So when we have Li Xiang in yogic union in understanding and awareness, then you naturally manifest meditative stability in your actions and conduct. When you have attained yogic union in the level of fruition or accomplishment, so these 5 kinds of yogic union, I feel these describe the level of Buddhas. You can use these as a way to observe or analyze or assess your own state. Do you have the same level of wisdom as your Yidam, the same kind of action as your Yidam, and the same fruition level as your Yidam, Bodhisattva? So some people, although they have attained yogic union, they are not able to manifest 4 and 5, which depend on cultivating inner yoga, inner tantra. If you practice the inner practices, then you will be able to sense your cultivation accomplishment. The last one, qi xiang yin, yogic union and responding to situations. When you see that this sentient being needs a specific kind of deliverance, you will use, or method, you will use this method to help the sentient being. So this is hard to, it's not so visible. This last one, yogic union and responding to situations, doesn't necessarily depend on inner practice, cultivation, accomplishment, for instance. But when you need to heal someone's illness, then you need that kind of ability. So this last one, maybe I need to change my wording. It doesn't necessarily depend on accomplishment in the inner dharmas. You can also depend on your yidam's power to help sentient beings according to their situations. So I'm trying to use the most simplest terms to help you understand. So let's use an analogy. If you have yogic union with a person or human being, from the perspective of normal people, what yogic union if I see water, if the weather is hot, I will drink cold water. If the weather is cold, I will drink hot water. Does someone need to teach me? This this is something natural that naturally happens. Of course, some people will still drink cold water in cold weather. But
假如他是真的是果相应，他是人，他是人来的，他一定不会做
if
出像
it's
动物的
a
行为啊，
human being,
是不是？
if
人
there's
是
yogic
因为
union
是人，
in
就
the
是
level of
因为他
fruition or
懂，
accomplishment,
他懂这个五
um,
戒，他懂这个论理
a
嘛，他
human
懂这
being
种
would
亲
know
情啊，
moral
这种
values
动物
and
才
the
不懂啊。因为他
precepts,
说是人
and they
有
will
相
not behave
有
like an
相啊，
animal.
他行为根本
So,
就是跟动物一样，所以
if
他果没有相应。
so
果
if a
相
human
应，
being is
你知道
behaving
他
like
既
an
然不是
animal,
人的
then
话，他
this
不是跟你
person
讲在
is
根本是
not
人是放不下的
doesn't
话，
have
对不
yogic
对？
union in the level
听
of
得懂
fruition or
吗？假如你
accomplishment.
是人相应的
So
话，你用这个一二
if
三四五去对
you have yogic
对
union
对
with a
照的
human
话，
being,
你会发
you
现哦，原
can
来还没有相应。
you
好，我
can
们看看
assess
是的
based on
天
these
文上
five
会有提到
characteristics
这
or
个
aspects
相应的
or
是什么，
qualities.
也是不容易
So
明白，因为这个也是蛮旧的一本书，叫
this
做
is
天地
from
有
book
二特异象的
162,
教佛，
chapter 15.
师尊是这样讲
And
的，
what
以
is
见就是
what it
相应。
grew,
我
right?
们知道以见是梵文
Yoga
叫
is yogic
yoga 其
union,
实就是
or
相应。一
and
切
this is
正定行果等所有诸法皆命相应，一切所缘境。看到这句话吗？假如师尊没有提这句话的话，
if
我真
Grandmaster
的很
didn't
难去理
mention
解这个境
this
相应。
sentence,
他
I
说
would
此
also
境
find it
应
difficult to
心故，
understand what
看
is
到这
Jing
句
Xiang
重点
Ying,
啊，这个境跟这个
yogic union in terms of state or realm.
是相应的，就是我想火就出来，
So when you
所以
think
境
it's
相应。
like when you
当然这
visualize
里是指的
fire
不
and
就是
then
火，我讲假如你是
fire
成火的
appears
话，
or heat
你
appears,
本来想什
but
么就
if
是什么
if
了，
you're a
那个念
Buddha,
头
then
想什
whatever
么就是
you
什么啊。
think
所
of
以
will
我们也可以在师尊
materialize
生
and
中看到，
manifest.
有时候师尊只是
So
随口讲一句话，然后就发
sometimes
生
we
事情了，
see
对不对？
it
画了一
happening
幅
to
画，
Guru.
天上都出
He
现那个云了，
when he
这
draws
种就是有境
clouds,
相应。身边
and
所
then they
做
will
它
appear
就
in the
相应，
sky.
所以
He's
有
just
嗔
thinking of
痴的人
something
念
and it
头要很小
appears.
心啊。
So
当然
those
遇
who
到
are
很成熟的
accomplished
人，
need to
你
be
不需要
very
叫他小
careful
心，
in
他
their
本来就
thoughts.
不会乱动那个念头。
But
只有
if
我们
they
遇到
are
不相应
accomplished,
的才
then
会
they will
乱动
not
念头。
have
幸
random
好我们没有
discursive
相应，
thoughts.
不然的
So
话
then
我
it's
们
a
世
good
界
thing
会
that we
混乱。
haven't reached yogic union
对，
because
因为我们有
otherwise
相
the
应，他
world
会
will be
乱
in
动念头，没有
chaos.
发生
If
事
you
情。
have
可是你是
negative
相应的
thoughts
话，他们
unwholesome thoughts.
是他们的
So if
心动
someone has
环
reached
境都跟你不同
accomplishment,
啊。
they are able
一
to
切
influence
行
the
及理，看到
circumstances
师尊
or
用这个嘛，
situations
他师
around
尊是
them.
把行跟理合在一起来讲
Second
的，
line,
对，不与境
一切行.
相应。因为你进了行了相应， 你
When
的理一定是相应的，不可能说
if
你
you
不
have
懂这个
attained
世
yogic
俗一
union in
生
your
一世的智
actions,
慧，
then
你
it
的行为上
means
还
that
是做
you
到而已，
naturally already
不
have
会这样的
yogic
啊。
union in terms of your
一切
understanding or
果三
comprehension.
圣
The third
三圣
point,
圣果十果位中功德更相
yogic
符。
union in
其实这
terms
句话是
of
三圣是
level
什
of
么？是小
accomplishment.
乘、中乘跟大
What are
乘。
the
很多
three
人只听过
vehicles
小乘
referring
跟大
here?
乘，没有听过中乘。其实中
It's
乘是
referring
存在的，
to
只是我们很少拿来讲。
Hinayana,
中乘
Mahayana,
就是
and
圆
something
觉
that's
小乘就
not
阿
so
罗汉，
commonly known
大
is
乘就
the
是菩
middle
萨。
vehicle.
它的
So
意思就是说，你
the
不可能
small
修小
vehicle
乘
is
得到
refers
菩萨的
to
果位啊，不合理啊，
arhats and
你这个反
trabakas.
应不合啊。你要
The
修成什
great
么
vehicle
果，一
refers
定
to
是跟你
Mahayana,
修的这个境
Bodhisattvas.
相应有关的，跟所
So
缘境有关的
the
啊。
level of
你
fruition or
你要
accomplishment
修
is related
果
to your Jing
这个
相
菩萨
应.
果位，你一定要
If
学
you want to
大乘的
cultivate
修行，大乘的所缘境，
the
你一定要
level of
学，你才
bodhisattvas
能
attain their
成就
accomplishment, then you
菩
have to
萨的
learn
果位，这个就是
Mahayana
这
in
里的
order
意
to
思啊。
accomplish
你
their
可以把
level
这些
of
做出来的话，你也可以称为
in
瑜
order
伽
to attain
师，就
success
是
in
这
their
样
level of
的简
spiritual
单这句话。
cultivation.
好，进入第二个相应的定
And
义。这个
next,
是我记得是联营上是
outer
在第
tantra,
几
inner
课
tantra,
提
and
到的，
secret
所以
tantra.
把它收
This
集起
I
来。
remember
他提
Master
到
Lien
的
Ying
相应
mentioned
有
this.
分外密、内
He
密，他
mentioned
没有提到内
yogic
密，不过
union
一
in
起把
terms
包
of
括。
outer
其
tantra
实
and
中
inner
间还
tantra.
有一个叫无上密，我没
He
把它
didn't
记好。
mention
我们
secret
只提外
tantra,
密、
but
内密
I
跟秘密。
will
他问到底是什
mention
么来的呢？
it
根
here.
据
What
它
are
的字
these?
眼来讲
according to the terms, outer tantra, refers to the purity of body, speech, and mind. So the secrets of the body, speech, and mind, the purification of the body, speech, and mind, this is what Alto Tantra is about. And when your mind is pure, it will be easier for you to cultivate inner Tantra, which is the cultivation of qi channels and light drops, using our treasure-based breathing to transform qi into wisdom qi, and using that wisdom qi to clear the blockages in your central channel so that your light drops can melt and you can attain purity. So you're using qi and channels and inner fire to purify yourself. And what is secret tantra? When you're able to generate qi, clear your channels, pure, pristine, clear light will manifest. And you need to use your Buddha nature to cultivate to accomplish Buddhahood. So secret tantra is already at the state of Buddhahood. There are 4 kinds of characteristics of yogic union. This is mentioned in the class handouts. We can go over it here. So these seem very ideal, and don't feel like you're not able to reach these ideals. You are still in the process of progressing and improvement. So the first characteristic is steadfast or firm. You have complete faith and pure faith. If you are cultivating Guru Yoga, for instance, you have complete faith and pure faith in your Guru and non-regressing faith. The second point, purity, means purity of body, speech, and mind. Number 3, liberation. Here it refers, its definition or scope is very wide, but here it refers to liberation for all kinds of afflictions. So afflictions refer to mental afflictions. And the fourth point about Yuanman, great perfection or perfection. This is when you reach yogic union, attaining Buddhahood, and perfectly accomplishing everything. So this is at the level of Buddhas. And number 4, 自由心证. This is a point that I added on, but I feel it's very important. It's I don't know whether you have this experience. A lot of people ask Grandmaster, have I attained yogic union? Grandmaster, please let me know. And then Grandmaster would say, if you have not, if you there is something that you would definitely know. For instance, if you are a male, or you would know that you are a male. If you're a female, you would know you're a female. It's a question you would absolutely not ask Grandmaster. So in that sense, you have yogic union with being female or yogic union with being male. So if you have attained yogic union, you will naturally know and you will not need to ask Grandmaster. And it's not the end. It's still part of the process. So if you have attained yogic union, wouldn't you know? Grandmaster will ask this question in return. So when you are certain, but you do not know how to go deeper into yogic union, you can ask Grandmaster or consult Grandmaster. But do not ask Grandmaster whether have I attained yogic union with Grandmaster, then it means that you have not attained yogic union. So this is self-verification in a sense. So it's not arrogance, but clarity or clarity. It's not. And there's this article from The Aura of Wisdom, book 154, this chapter, 自由星辰, chapter 21. So apart from getting validation from one's root guru, one is able to validate oneself. I know Master Lian Ying has mentioned that you can ask Grandmaster whether you have attained yogic union, but I would suggest that you can also assess whether you yourself have attained yogic union. Have you truly or when you're about to practice yogic Yidam yoga, then you can ask Grandmaster.
我其实不可以说这样的话哦。其实师尊觉得你要修行的话，有时候也会就鼓励你的，可以修可以修哦。因为你要知道，在修本尊法的时候，里面还
When
是有
you're
释迦
practicing
行。
Yidam yoga, there is also the 4 preliminaries and Guru yoga in the practice of Yidam yoga. It's not apart
好，
from
我
that.
们看师尊的条件哦，师尊给的条件蛮
Let's look
高
at the
的。
conditions
师
given
尊是
by
说，当你要
Grandmaster.
自由心证的时候，第
When
一，
you
你
want
一
to
定要有
validate
正
yourself,
确的见解
you
者。
need
什么叫正
to
确的
it
见解者？
it
你一定要
needs
有
to be
正
a
见。
practitioner who has
假
right
如你
views,
把这个
who has
相
a
应
correct
的
understanding of right views.
的观点是当成是看到鬼啊，看到神
If
啊，看到
your
神棍啊，
definition, for
那你
instance,
用这个见解
includes
去
seeing
自由
ghosts and
心证的话，
spirits,
你当然觉得这是相
then
应的。
you might be
所以为什么前面
it
要
might
讲
be
这个
off the
相
mark.
应无益
You
相
might.
应的
So why did we
特
mention the
特
five
性，就是让你有
or
一
the
个
four
实验。
characteristics of
你至少
yogic
要对应
union?
一下说，好，我进
You
来
need
觉
to
得我跟本
first
尊相应。
understand
那我刚开始的
what
第一个是进
are
入
the
相
qualities
应
or
法，
characteristics of
进
yogic union,
我
what it's about,
以修
what
本
are the
尊法
kinds
的
of
这个
yogic
这
union.
个所缘境
So
得到了境
from
相
the
应，我跟本尊
perspective
相应了。
of
我的
所缘
理跟
境
行
and
应
yogic
该是
union
相
in
应的。
terms
你
of
看看
state
自
or
己
realm,
的行为
then
是
look
不
at
是跟本
yourself,
尊一样，
reflect
不是说
whether
你遇
your
到了
own
菩萨
actions
相
or
应，你就
conduct
可以
are
知
the
道
same
是
as
人
your
还是
idams.
鬼。
It doesn't mean that if your idam
那个
is
是不对
Kishigarba,
劲的，
you always
你
look
知道吗？
for
你不可能说我本尊法相应，我
dead
到处去
people
找
to
神
bardo
人来靠近。
deliver.
就好像你
This
人相
is
应了，你
not
不需要到处去
correct.
外面跟人家说我是人哦，你看住我，我是人哦，我会喝水哦，我
Then
会吃饭哦，
there's something
不
wrong.
需要的。你会不知道他的理相应
You
不对 ，something wrong， 他的理没有相应，是不
if you
是？
have a
所
wrong
以你要明
understanding,
白，
then
与本尊法相
your
应，不一定
behavior
是
would
跟本
also
尊的行
be
为一样，跟本尊行为
would
一
also
样的
go
话，就是你
astray.
的
So
正见没有，你没有正见，
you
你
need to
相应
first have
自
right
由心证的
views.
话，一定是觉得自己相应的。
So
大
if
家
you
知
don't have
道，
right views
本
and
尊
then
是
you
跟着因缘而
self-validate,
行
then
化
your
道生，
self-validation would be
不
wrong.
可能说我是
So
观
first
世
of
音菩
all,
萨，我要度你。他说我不
for
要
instance,
度
if
自己，
somebody
我要
thinks
度
that
你。
they are
你不可以是强迫
Avalokiteshvara
他度他。师
and
尊不是讲过笑话吗？
wants
有个
to
小人
force
扶一个
other
老人
people,
家 去过马
to
路，那个
to
老人家一直
forcefully
跟他
deliver
挣
other
扎，挣
people.
到最后的时候，原来老人家是要走相反的路线，你不可以
So
强迫他
it's like
走嘛，对不对？
little
所
Ming
以当你有了
seeing
正
an
见
old
之
person
后，
want
你才
at
凭实
at
修
the
的
roadside
力
and
量。什
wants
么意
to
思？表
insists
示
on
你是有
wanting to
正
help this
见，
old
不
person
是懂理
cross the
论的，
road,
你是
but
有去
this old person
修
doesn't
这个
actually
理
want to
论，是
cross the
有
road,
实
but
践
actually
它
wants to
的。
go in the
所以
opposite
你自
direction.
己自由
So
心证的时候，你要问自己：
um,
我是不是
when
有把
carrying
我
out
的释迦行
self-validation,
做好？
you have to
我是不是
ask,
有把我的
have
上
I
师相应法
completed
做
my
好？
four
你手不认
preliminaries
得字
well?
哦，不然就
Have
本
I
尊相应，你
succeeded
会很
in
奇怪， 是不是收到佛
Pama
心的
Guru
感恩？
Yoga?
佛
Then
请告诉
if you
我，
haven't
你
done
是
all
本
these
尊相
well,
应
then
的。
you need to
那你要
you need to
自
ask
我检讨
yourself
一下，我好
honestly,
像没有
are you
放
being
我的释
disturbed
迦
by
行
spirits if
上
you
师相应
think
法，你
that
说
you have
哦一下
attained
子就相应了，是不
yogic
是？
union
有
with your
大悲
idam?
心，就是你
So
会真正出现对众
it's
生的关怀，那
self-validation
个
is
怜悯
founded on
众生。
a correct understanding of
只
right
要你
views.
行果通达，
So you
你
need
明白
to
的佛法
also
各个
have
部
a
分，
great
可是
compassionate
全部
heart
是完整的。
and you have a
就你进
complete
来修本尊
understanding,
法的话，
comprehension
到
of
底
the
哦，
Dharma.
你对上师相应法的
So
释迦
when
行的这
you
个
practice Yidam
理
yoga,
念啊，应该是
you
一般
should
很清
have
楚的。
clarity
不然人
regarding
家问你
Guru yoga
几个关于
um,
修释迦行的时候，
and
人家问
the
你
four
为什么
preliminaries.
修辟
So
小
if
乘
other
正法、
people
下乘
ask
法的时
you,
候，法要放冷
why
水？
is it that
啊，
when we
假如
practice
你
Dharma
哦，
protection,
你
we
为什么
have to
放冷水？可是
visualize
你讲不出
the
为什么
Dharma
放冷水，
protector
他
emitting
放冷
blue
水
light?
干嘛？
And then
为什
what
么他
is
烧我？
he emitting blue light for, and why is he shining the blue light on me? So if they ask such questions and you're not able to understand, answer, then you may not have reached that state. So you should have a very clear understanding of the four preliminaries as well as Guru Yoga. And in terms of our speech, for instance, when Master Lian He, in terms of, we can see the wisdom in his speech. So, for instance, when he came in to Zoom, he said that greetings or to everyone in Chinese, that's 大家好. And then Master Lian Lai replied jokingly, not good. You're responsible. And Master Lian He replied, good equals not good equals good. So that shows his wisdom in his speech. In terms of self-validation, you can observe yourself where you, if person has craving or greed, but there is a, like for instance, if this year somebody owes you $10, you already feel very unhappy. You will you mind, then you know that's your tolerance level. But if next year your tolerance level increases to if somebody owes you $50, then you're unhappy, then you know that there is an improvement. So there is a gradual improvement in your cultivation, and you can assess and see it for yourself. You're not arrogant in your actions. You are not force or insist on others. You are not you understand that people have their causes and conditions. You will not force your own understanding on other people. To self-validate, you have to first assess your own body, speech, and mind. Is it pure? Is there non-leakage in terms of your qi channels and light drops? Is there great bliss? Has the clear, pristine light appeared? Have you understood shunyata? And when a person reaches the level of Buddhahood, nobody else is able to validate it for them. So this is the Grandmaster's very profound explanation. So we can do self-assessment, our own inner state, whether we have reached certain level of cultivation. And also in this chapter or article, he mentions that if someone says that they have attained yogic union with their guru, then it's very easy to assess. Is a practitioner willing to spend all your remaining life in the diligent cultivation of the Dharma? So it's like Karma Sambhava, placing an emphasis, prioritizing cultivation. You wouldn't use most of your time on worldly matters and the remaining time on sleep. You would use as much of your time as possible on spiritual cultivation. Are you willing to give your life, your resources, your inclination, your time, and completely serve Guru and allow him to make that decision for you? We're very lucky to live in the time when Guru allows us to make our own choices, and he's not like ancient gurus who will want you to do things, live life according to certain way. So Grandmaster was actually tested by his own guru, who said Rainbow Temple is very beautiful. Will you give it to me? And Grandmaster was willing to give it to his own guru. So if Grandmaster tells you to become a monk, then and you're not willing, then So including myself, it took me half a year to develop a firm resolve to become a monastic. Most people are not able to do it. It's very hard to do. So this is a kind of this was something that will happen when you reach yogic union. It will allow you to be able to do certain things. If you have yogic union with your guru, you will completely follow in your root guru's footsteps. A lot of people are not able to remain steadfast in like if they see someone, if they think that this person has attained spiritual accomplishment in terms of seeing ghosts and spirits in the invisible realm, and then they follow that person, then they have actually strayed from the path, and they forget their root guru is right with them. So that's not the right way. And what are the keys to yogic union? It's also from book 107, the same chapter on yogic union. When I was teaching the lesson on Padmasambhava's yogic, Yidam Yoga Sadhana, I mentioned that the keys is sadhana is revering Guru, cherishing Dharma, and truly practicing. And this is not just limited to his sadhana, but to all Yidam yogas, and not just Yidam yogas, but also karma sadhanas. Tantric Buddhism reveres one's root guru as number one, and two main things about Tantric Buddhism. One is lineage, number two is root guru. So the root guru encompasses all. He is the overall. So it's like 种子, which was mentioned by Master Lianing in his lesson on Junie Buddha Mother. Why is it that Tantric Buddhism has fourfold refuge, while in Sutrayana there's only refuge in the triple gem? So the meaning of refuge is in the process of refuge in the Buddha, you find your own Buddha nature. When we take refuge in Buddha, let me use a simple analogy. In the beginning, how do you know Buddha? You use the appearance of Buddha as a form of representation. And so you think this is Buddha. But when you take refuge in the Dharma, for instance, sutras, these represent Dharma. And refuge in Sangha, then you look at monastics and you think this is the Sangha. But after taking refuge for a long time, you start to have questions. When you say he is Buddha, when you say sutras, why is it when I read sutras, my wisdom doesn't increase? Or when I look at monastics, how come this monastic is not behaving like a monastic? Then congratulations, it means that you have understood that is just outer form or appearance. From seeing the outer form, you understand that there is an inner aspect. So there is Buddha nature. You understand that there is Buddha because they have Buddha nature. So they are reminding you of your Buddha nature. The Buddhas are when the sutras, when you finally understand its principle or teaching, then you understand that there is wisdom. You are finding your own inner wisdom. And the Sangha, there are there are good monastics. There are some who who are able to purify themselves in their spiritual cultivation. So you know that there is something that can represent monastics, which is pure conduct. So from outer aspect to the inner aspect to the final form of self-refuge, you find your own inner wisdom, your own Buddha nature, and your own purity. And what does refuge in root guru mean? If you have read Grandmaster's books, you would understand. I should probably have put this question at the beginning. When you take refuge in Guru, it is to restore the original wisdom of Tathata, of your true suchness, your original wisdom to restoring your original purity. So refuge in root guru is restoring your own the body of your Tathata, true suchness. Why is there lineage? Lineage means that it's something that is passed down from lineage gurus. It's not something that's made up. So if there is no lineage, then it means that it might have been changed somewhere. So serving or devotion to Guru is very important. These two words, 承事, which devotion or service, it's not just limited to one's guru. Before you practice Yidam yoga, you also need to practice devotion service to your Yidam. So then you can finally enter into the practice or cultivation of Yidam yoga. So why have I extended this lesson to 3 or 4 lessons? Because Grandmaster has taught many precious keys. So if I don't include them in this lesson, it's a bit of a pity. So yogic union first comes from revering our root guru. If you don't even respect your own guru, then why would you practice his dharma? So in order to cherish his dharma and truly practice, we have to first begin with revering our teacher, honoring our teacher. So we need to understand what these 3 are. Respecting our guru. How do you know that you respect or revere your guru? First, you regard your guru as a Buddha with complete and pure faith. Some people think they respect their guru, but you have to ask yourself, when you first have faith in guru, do you truly have pure faith? A lot of people at the beginning, their faith is based on superstition. They are dazed by gurus' supernatural powers. But along the way, when you start to develop wisdom and you start to cultivate or develop a faith that is based on wisdom, you will use wisdom to analyze or understand the teachings. You finally enter into pure faith. So a lot of Sutrayana will describe themselves as 正信佛教, which translates to Buddhism that's based on pure or right faith. Right faith. When you don't understand, so complete faith sometimes you might not be able to fully understand, but you still have faith complete faith in Guru. It's just that you are not able to understand it fully yet. So this pure faith is not just faith that is based on wisdom. So sometimes people need to be tested in order to realize what is pure faith. Some people, when they see the grandmaster being slandered or criticized, they start to have doubt, and this means that they don't have pure faith. Number two, 诚实, which is devotion or service to Guru. Then some people will have questions because they're not able to be right next to Guru and serve Guru. So this also depends on causes and affinities. So if you have a close affinity with Guru, then you can be by Guru. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you are right next to Guru. But for instance, you will find opportunities to be near Guru. When Grandmaster is transmitting a major Dharma, and you actually take the plane to attend the Dharma ceremony, this is also a form of devotion or service to Guru, because when 10,000 devotees or practitioners appear to support Grandmaster's transmission of a major Dharma, then this is also a way of expressing their important regard for this Dharma. So the power of 10,000 people, that's greater than the power of one. So why is it that when Grandmaster transmits a Dharma for the first time, we should, as disciples, support and attend the ceremony if we can, if we have the resources and the time. We should try our best to participate in these. It's not you have time, but you are watching Korean dramas or you're singing karaoke when you have time and you're not actually practicing Dharma. So, or trying to come closer to Guru. So you can do a bit of self-assessment. If you have the affinities, the causes and conditions to be closer to Guru, you should. It doesn't mean that you insist on, for instance, isn't there this thing about devotion service to Guru? I must serve my Guru water and personally insist Grandmaster receives the water from. It's not that. Don't be so insistent. Number three, offering. So offering is not just about offering of money, but there is also the offering of body, speech, and mind. For instance, when you personally attend Grandmaster's Dharma ceremonies or you attend Dharma ceremonies at cultivation venues, this is also an offering of the body. Some people will think that if I can also cultivate at home, so why do I need to go to the cultivation venue to support the Dharma ceremony? If you think about it, if there are only 5 or 6 people at a cultivation venue or a temple, how will this temple be able to generate the power to propagate the Dharma and turn the Dharma wheel to help deliver or liberate more sentient beings? So we need to support these events at cultivation venues or temples so that they can generate that power to help to deliver sentient beings. And also speech, praise Guru, praise these Dharma propagation efforts. In terms of mind, you can be mindful and remember Guru in your mind. So this is also a kind of offering. 依教奉行 number 4, this is practicing in accord with the Dharma, upholding the teachings. So Guru's teachings are akin to teachings from Buddha. So you will not have doubt. And even though something you might not understand, you would view it from the perspective of there must be something that I don't understand, and that's why it's like this. And it's not because his teachings contain any errors, but it's because I don't understand there's something else in there. Number 5, repentance. um, the closer you are to Guru, it's easy to develop impure thoughts, but you need to, if you have any impure thoughts towards Guru, then you need to quickly recite 100 syllable mantra. Number 6, you need to observe. A lot of people don't know this point. You need to observe respectful distance or consideration for the group. So sometimes Grandmaster needs space. He needs to rest. So we need to be mindful of that and keep a respectful distance when appropriate. So if you don't respect Guru, then the Dharma will not be able to enter your heart. And if the Dharma is not able to enter your heart, then your cultivation will not able to generate power. Now, what about treasuring or cherishing Dharma? If you cherish the Dharma, then you would relinquish a worldly mind. And regarding fame or all these, this would be secondary to you. Maybe due to your family or work, you're not able to become a monastic, but you would still prioritize spiritual cultivation. You would understand that these things are not beneficial to you in your spiritual cultivation. The pursuit of worldly things are not beneficial to you. How much money do you need? Only if you're able to use the money wisely, then this money is of benefit. Otherwise, it's just a number in your bank account. Number 2, if you respect the Dharma, then if you cherish the Dharma, you would respect lineage as well as empowerment. You will not run to another sect or another tradition and receive empowerment from their Rinpoches or other people. You will not even the masters of our school. If you have already personally received an empowerment from root guru and you treasure the Dharma, then you will not receive an empowerment from a master who is a disciple of guru. That would be a distortion of lineage. So number 3, respect for sutras, the altar mantras or sadhanas. Sometimes you go to a person's place and you might see, oh, why are the sadhanas placed randomly all around, or Grandmaster's image, and then there's a cup or on top of Grandmaster's image, and I would secretly move the cup away. So there are affinities. In book 236, there is a chapter, why am I not able to see Mahatma Lotus Ponds? This story is is able to serve as a warning to us. You can look for this book yourself, chapter 70. I can briefly describe. So a disciple recited 8 million times of the Guru mantra and wanted to request the Grandmaster to see Mahatma Lotus Ponds. This disciple was not 100% happy because he or she was not able to see the 18 Kamakumara. So Grandmaster gave more thing. But after going back, the disciple still didn't receive, still wasn't able to see. So Grandmaster Yidam told him to ask this disciple to go and recite 3 times the True Buddha Sutra and receive another empowerment more thing. And then this person will be able to see. So Grandmaster was perplexed. How come this disciple was not able to see after the first morning, but needed to recite 3 times of the True Buddha Sutra and also receive a second morning in order to see? So it turns out that this person had received 3 copies of True Buddha Sutra and had placed these 3 copies of True Buddha Sutra on a newspaper, randomly placed them on a newspaper stack. So we need to be very careful how we handle these teachings, sadhanas, images. So I have to I have to question, how come there are people who place Grandmaster's image on the mugs or cups? I'm not able to accept such products or merchandise because this is disrespectful. I feel this is disrespectful to Guru. I mean, because when you're drinking from the cup and your mouth is and Grandmaster's image is there, I mean, would you equate that with respect for Guru? So don't be negligent or treat Grandmaster's image lightly. So when we make items, we need to have some items, some theoretical or some knowledge or understanding of the Ashtra Mangala, the 8 auspicious symbols. So it's not a random plastering of these images or symbols all over the place. Like what Grandmaster mentioned about the skyscrapers, you can't build from the second floor up. You have to cultivate according to sequence. So we know that our thoughts it's very hard to control. So that's why there are these sadhanas or rituals to help us to cultivate. And the more you cultivate, the more easier it should be for you. It should not be, it gets more and more difficult for you. If you are still asking questions, when you reach the state of cultivating Yidam yoga, then if you still have questions regarding certain details in the practice, then it means that you have not done your homework, your foundational homework well. So if you are someone who treasures the Dharma, then it would not be for profit or fame. And what is true practice or diligent practice? Then your body and mind will be in the actual practice of the Dharma, and you will not be hiding at home to practice Dharma. You should be able to cultivate the 4 immeasurable minds in your interactions with sentient beings. So in the practice of Tantric Buddhism, there is visualization of the Yidam, there's the chanting of mantra, and there's also inner observation of your heart, mind. So sometimes people who are older, they think they cannot do visualization, etc. Then Grandmaster is very compassionate. They would just let them cultivate according to their affinities or capacities, capabilities. When you are number 3 is to actually enter the meditation, cultivation of meditation. Number 4, transforming afflictions. You are able to apply Dharma in your daily life, and you are able to transform your heart, mind, your thoughts. Number 5, you're able to validate your state of cultivation step by step. What I mentioned earlier from the 4 preliminaries. How do you know whether you have attained success in the 4 preliminaries? It means it's called Vajra, heart, mind, Bodhisattva Siddhana because you have developed a firm resolve. If you think that another Dharma is better and you run and practice that Dharma, then you know you haven't reached that state where you're very firm, stable in your practice. If the more you practice, the more problems you develop, the more ailments you have, then you have not, or the poorer you become, then you have not improved or become successful in the 4 preliminaries. The more you practice the 4 preliminaries, the more auspicious omens there should be in terms of your health, your circumstances should improve. how do you assess success in Guru Yoga? Do you have pure, complete faith in Guru's teachings? Are you able to is your conduct similar to Guru's conduct? And here today we will end at this point because there are more complex teachings later on. So I will stop at this point. We will talk, I will share more keys about Yidam Yoga later on. I've thought about this for a bit. If I share all the keys that Guru taught, then you might be very confused which key should I use. So we need to be very systematic and
50多年的教导，师尊至少有留下
Grandmaster's 50 over years of teachings. He has taught at least 4 kinds of systems. The first is Great Perfection, the 9 stages of the Great Perfection. And then there's also Maha Mudra, which Grandmaster has mentioned in 2 books. But this is not easy to digest because Grandmaster. So this is mainly about these 4 kinds of yoga. And Grandmaster has also taught about Lamtru, which is the path and the fruit. A lot of times it's talking about 觉受量, which is the way of learning or teaching based on experiential insights. So this is also a system of learning or teaching, and Lamrin Shenmu, which is
作为一个密教师部还有他次第的，他很多理论的，也不容易。
There is also a lot of theory, and this is also not easy to understand. And because I have done a bit more study on the Great Perfection teachings, so all the keys that I've collected can be classified through the system of the Great Perfection teachings. So later on, if Grandmaster teaches other keys, you will be able to understand where this key falls into which stage. Then you will not be confused or perplexed. So this is a brief introduction to the next lesson that I will using the system or the framework of the 9 stages of the Great Perfection. How can we classify or categorize the keys to yogic union? So that's the end of today's class. I hope it's beneficial for everyone. Amitabha, thank you, Master Lian Lai, for your detailed explanation during today's lesson. And without further ado, let's go into the question and answer segment. The first question from Oscar Ling. Amitabha, what is specific 所缘境?
可以，我先把所缘境的意思是
Does
讲一
it
下。
represent an object or refer to the mandalas of the Yidam? It means that you are creating a situation or circumstance that allows your heart to abide at ease in this state. I will try to use the perspective of Yogacara to explain it, and in Yogacara it mentions that if your eyes need to see something, doesn't it require color? So the color is this object's 所缘境. If you close your eyes, this 所缘境 is not able to generate an effect. So this supporting condition can include 所缘境 supporting condition can include great homage, great offering, etc. So these are methods that we these causes that we plant to generate certain conditions. So when we do the great homage, we need to visualize the Buddhas in front of us. When we visualize the Buddhas, if you have attained yogic union, you will feel moved by the appearance of Buddhas. When you go to Seattle, you see when you see Guru, you are very moved. Why is there such a phenomena? Because the outer circumstance and your mind there's a yogic union, or there's a between the two. This small Kama Kumara has received great blessing from the Yidam. If you think that it's false, then you will not have any feeling. But at the beginning of our cultivation, we have to regard them as real, and then you would generate that feeling of being moved emotionally, and you would feel your body being purified. It's like when water is splashed on your body, you will feel refreshing coolness or purification. But if you don't really feel that, but if there is true yogic, if there's yogic union in terms of state or realm, then you would really feel that that purification process. The next question from Lianhua Jianqi. If one attains yogic union, does that mean that they'll be able to see the Dharma body of Grandmaster? Right now, a lot of people see Grandmaster's Dharma body because of affinities. If you're practicing inner yoga, inner tantra, then you would definitely be able to see. But if you're still at the level of outer tantra, then it depends on causes and conditions or affinities. I will try to explain it. If you can understand, then you understand. If not, then let it be. So when a thought arises and you are not affected by that thought, this is the Dharma body.
好的，感恩上师。好，接下来莲花见集
Next
问，请问
question
上师，
from
观
莲花
想
见
与
集.
本尊合一
When we
是不是
visualize
佛性之
merging
本
with
质？
our Yidam, does it refer to Buddha nature? No, Buddha nature originally exists, just that we don't know that it exists. So you need to rely upon methods to cultivate. So Yidam Yoga is the same regardless of which Yidam you use. As the more important point is that you feel an affinity with the Yidam. So it allows you to realize that from your Dharma nature, you are able to generate a reward body or Sambhogha Kaya. So the visualization of the Yidam is still at the level of outer tantra. It still depends on visualization, mudra, and mantra. It has still not gone into the state of qi channels and light drops. And the next question from Lianhua Xinhua. If one is not able to go to Seattle, but watches the live stream and watch, is this considered devotional service to Guru? Of course. If somebody just looks at the YouTube channel and sees, wow, there are 10,000 people watching this live stream, then this person must be extraordinary. I did not think of this, but yes.
那接下来呢是莲花效益助教问，有个想
莲花效益 Dharma student asks, I'm not able to understand what is the significance of the visualization of mala beads. Visualization. It is to help you to become focused and your visualization of your yidam to be more firm and stable. The last question, if Grandmaster appears in one's dream and uses the Vajra staff to dispel ghosts, is this yogic union? When we talk about dreams, you don't need to ask masters. In general, the dreams dependent based on your understanding of the Dharma If, for instance, in your dream, a person appears,
比如你这个梦里面很明显的就是驱魔啊，不
so
需要
this
回答
dream
的，
is
这个很明
clearly
显，就是根
is
据你，比如说
evidently about
你
the
假如梦
dispelling
到自
of
己吃虫，这
Mars
好
or
不好？
ghosts. If you see or
这
if
是
you
业障很
dream
重才会吃虫嘛，
yourself
对不对？可是你不可
eating
以问非
worms,
洲人，因为非
then
洲
it
人梦
means
到吃
that you
虫，他吃
have
什么？表示他有福
um
报，
it's very
因为他
heavy
的
karmic
他们
hindrance.
的他们
But
的
if you cannot
生
ask
成的
an
一个资
African
料是以这个作为
such
标
a
准，
question
反正你梦
because
到身
they
上有
do
白光
eat
进来，是
insects
好的还是
or
不好？
etc. So
你梦
they
到
will
这
not
个
regard
很
it the
黑气
same
进来，
way.
好的是不好？
If
因为那
you
是根据
dream
你
of
法
blood
身的资
tea
料，所以他会
entering
根
your
据你
body,
的这个
is that good or
梦
bad?
识来，
So your
除非
interpretation of the
一般来
dream
说，你梦
also
到你的，比
depends
如你梦
on
到师
your
尊拿一个鸡的
um
毛给你灌顶，你
knowledge. For
梦就
instance, if
准了。
grandmaster is
我好像没有
holding
听过
a
哦，
chicken
在
feather
密教里面有
and
鸡的毛
um
灌顶的，这个你真的要一起
giving
试
you
试看，
empowerment,
表示说这个
and
资
then
料
you
是
have
在你
to
的脑海里面，是在
you
心里
really don't
面
know
的，你要
understand
亲
what it
自去
means.
问
You have
师
to
傅。可
consult
是你刚才
grandmaster.
讲的这一个的话，其
But
实
for
就算
instance,
就算
this dream that is
不
described in
不
this
不是说
question,
一看就知
even
道是，
if a
就是帮
person
你消除，不一定是
uh
魔或者鬼啦，是师尊告诉你，他会帮
uh
你消除这些障
so
碍，
it
让
shows
你
that
更顺
grandmaster
心，
is
比较
has
顺
appeared
利
to
啊。
help
不
you
一定
be
是这个而已。
help your
好的，
cultivation
感
be
恩上师。
smoother
接下来
with
还有一个
less
问题：
obstacles.
大圆满九次地跟十轮金刚
Last
禅
question.
定
The
一
nine
次
stages
性
of the
如何
great
区
perfection
别？
and the nine stages of color chakras,
大圆满九次地
Vajra
是
meditation.
从凡
What is the
夫
difference?
修成佛
The
的
nine
九个次
stages of the
第。
great perfection
禅
are
定
the
九次
nine
第讲
stages
的是
of
在禅定的
cultivation
时候
from
经过的
from
九个
an
次
ordinary
第。
person
刚开
to
始
Buddhahood.
是因为我没
The
有
nine
很久没
stages
有
of
读
color
了，我印
chakras
象中是刚开始你
meditation
要
is
好像5分钟不可
you have to
以，就
first
是
start
盯着
from
那个
5
十轮金
minutes
刚要闭三眼不动，然
uh,
后7分钟，然后30
fix your
分钟，
attention on
然后
color
一个
chakras third
小
eye,
时到两
and
个
then
小时。
slowly to
我
1
印象中
hour
好
to
像是
2
这样，
hours. This
这
is
个讲
something
的
that I
是禅
remember
定。
offhand.
它虽
It's
然用
talking
的
about
词是九
samadhi.
次第，可是
So
跟大
even
圆满
though
九
they
次第
both
是不一样，
refer
就是
to
就
nine
是讲
stages,
9个
but they
阶
are
段的意
talking
思啦。
about
可是它这个九次
two
第
different
不是
things.
大圆满那个九
So
次第的
the
意
nine
思，它们两
stages
个是不
of the
同。
great perfection and the nine stages of
好
color
的，谢
chakras
谢上
meditation are
师。
two
最
completely different
最
things.
后接下来一个问题是，请问上师四加行相应的口
Another
诀如何
question,
了解？
what are the keys? How does
信
one
跟相
understand the
信，
keys of
我还
the
没有讲完。
um the four
信跟相信，
preliminaries,
看完之后可以
yogic
问这个
union
问
in
题
the
的话，
four
我会回答。
preliminaries? Okay,
好，我还
please
有这里还
continue
收到一个问
listening
题，
to the next
嗯，
lessons,
我
and
稍
if
微
at
读
the
一
end of the
下。
lessons you still don't understand,
不
then
要玩
I
太
will
难
explain.
哦，太难的交给联姻上司。
Master jokes that please don't ask too difficult questions. You can leave the difficult questions for Master Lee and Ying.
请问上师，如果看到
Next
某本
question.
尊法很
If
殊胜，
we
但
see
现
that
在只
Yidam
是在
yoga
上
is
师
very
的四加
extraordinary,
行法，我可以修本尊
but
法
a
吗？
person is still at the level of true
对，
yoga
我跟
and
你
four
说，心
preliminaries,
有心
can
正，
I
你先问自
cultivate
己释迦行
Hidam?
的
Can
基
I
本功
cultivate
课
this
做完
Hidam
了吗？
yoga?
你的上师相应法
So
基本
Master
的功课
replies,
做完了吗？
have
先
you
问自己
completed
这
your
个先。
basic homework for the four
假
preliminaries
如你
in Guru
对这本
Yoga?
尊法很喜欢的
If
话，我
you
觉得后
feel a
面应该
very
是
strong
下个礼
affinity
拜我们会提
with
到
this
成事本尊，
Yidam
你可以
yoga,
先做
next lesson
成
we will
事
talk
本尊
about
先，不一定要
devotion
先
or
修本尊
service
法，
to
你先成事
Yidam.
本尊。为什么需要
You
成
don't
事
have to
本尊
start
呢？
with their
因为你
practice,
才
but you
知
can
道
start
这
with
套系
devotion or
统
service to
看
this
不看
particular
上你
Yidam.
啊。你看上
Then
一
you
本基
know
本不一
that
定看
whether
上你
this
了，对不对？
Yidam
你要成
feels
事
a
它，
connection
到
with
时候
you.
它会
You
成
have
事本
to
尊有3个过
first
程，
express
所
your
以你要
devotion or
知道
service to
它，
the
知
Yidam.
道你喜
And
欢
there
它，然后
is
你
a
才可以
process
开。
with
假如
three
它有事
stages.
件开示
If
下，就是说
the
我答应你了，
Yidam
那
appears,
么你就可以
then
正式修本尊法，所以你不需要等。
consent, or this
对，
is
假如你
allowing
在
you
成事的
to
过程，它有事
continue.
件让你知道的话，你就可以
If
修本尊
the
法。
Yidam appears, then you can cultivate Yidam yoga.
好， 好，我们还有一个问题。
We have one more question.
如果观想不动明王的箭烧像无形纵的观想行吗？
If we
这刚
visualize
好也是上
Achala's
个星期要
sword
讲的东西，
blazing
好，
也
那我
um
们就
是
toward the invisible sentient beings. Is this visualization okay? If this is not, Master replies that if this is not taught in the Siddhana, then do not randomly invent visualizations because it's a matter of lineage.
疑问应该是没有了。好，那我们就
Okay, these are the questions that have been asked for now, and our time is also up. We thank Master for patiently answering everyone's questions. Thank you, everyone. And before the lesson, Master Lian Lai mentioned that the next lesson will still be about the same topic, Part 10, Keys to Cultivating Yidam Yoga. So we will continue with part 2 of this lesson. Please attend the class punctually if you can. And we thank the interpreters for today, Dharma Assistant Payton and the Indonesian channel, as well as all volunteers helping out behind the scenes. And let's invite Master Lian Lai to say farewell to everyone. Thank you, Master Lian Lai, and thank you to all Mama Kumars over Zoom, YouTube, Facebook. And you can now turn on your microphones to say goodbye to Master Lian Lai.
上师再见，阿弥陀佛。
阿弥陀佛。
上师再见，谢谢上师，
感恩，谢谢，感恩，
拜拜，
谢谢上师，
大家下节课见，
拜上师，感恩上师，
拜拜，
谢谢上师，上师，下节课见，下节课见，感恩
上师，谢谢大家，阿弥陀佛，拜拜，下周见。
上师，谢谢上师，来上师助教，谢谢所有，帮忙，
谢谢上师，感恩上师，
收获妈妈，上师收获妈妈。
到时候他会城市本身有3个过程，所以你要让他知道你喜欢他。